farm. See, Carol, that sounds much better than 12 to 15. I know! Those are my perfectly behaved chickens. And you know, I think Janine thinks I just go, hello chickens, right, you're going to behave today. I actually spent a long time handling those chickens so that they don't fly away when you walk with them. And they're wonderful. They're the nicest little chickens. Although, at the job today, I did hear that during the summer when Janine took those chickens, that one of them flew off, and the lady said it was so funny watching the other girl. She was running around trying to catch it. I was like, oh, I didn't hear about that. So yes, so I have another chicken that I'm working with up in the house, but it pecked me the other day, and I was like, well, this one's obviously not quite ready. So yeah. Oh, looking at the snow map, the boundaries of a mouse were everywhere. Yeah, we will know when we get it. As long as we can dig out of it, we're fine. Windshield. That's a silly name for it. It's a windscreen. Honestly. Windshield. I remember when I was sitting on the school bus going to hockey, we used to have to go to our playing fields, which were about 20 minutes away in a bus. So we were all sitting there with our little hockey sticks and our game kits. And I was testing my friend. I'd passed my driver's test, and the written test that you have to do. I was testing her things from the highway code that we use, and she said something about, you know, the thing that always really confuses me is when they talk about this dimister, and I said, the dimister. I said, I don't think my car's got one of those. And she said, yeah, the dimister. She said, you must use it. And I'm like, no, I've never heard of it. And she was sitting there going, oh, but you use it when it's cold. And I'm like, the dimister. And we sat there, with the pair of us were going, yeah. And I'm going, no. She's going, yeah. And then I said, so when else do you use it? And she said, you know, when the windscreen, when it mists up. I said, the demister. And she's like, yeah, the dimister. And I'm like, no, the demister. Totally and utterly lost in translation. But she passed her driver's test anyway, so at least I didn't confuse her any further. So there is a shopping mall, and I have suggested the shopping mall several times to her, but she will not go to the shopping mall to walk. I do not know why. That's why we ended up in Goldy, and she went for a walk around Aldi, and she just doesn't seem very keen to go to a mall, because I know that a lot of people do go and walk in the mall very often before the shops open. So I thought this was a tremendous idea, but it wasn't one that she fancied at all. So, but she does go for a wee wander around Home Depot. She loves a good wander around Home Depot. But then the problem we have with Home Depot is she goes down, if I drop her off, I took her down last Saturday, and then the phone doesn't work. I don't think it gets connection in Home Depot. So she was, but she's taken a tremendously long time. I said, she must really be, she was telling me she was going in to just have a little browse and look for things. I thought, okay, no problem at all. So she wandered in, and I thought, crikey, she's really taking her time over this. This must be some great stuff going on in here. And then it turns out that she'd been trying to call me, and she was so frustrated. And she said, where did you go? I said, I had to park the car. I said, I cannot sit and wait for you right outside Home Depot. I said, because everybody has to drive around me. And she's like, the phone wouldn't work. Well, you can imagine the language she was using, because her phone didn't work. She was most upset. Anyway, so I eventually got her back. So I'm thinking, I don't think I'll be letting her go into Home Depot by herself again if we're going to have communication problems. Yes, Nick put the studio cam back up. He thinks that the cable was disconnected. I don't know why, but apparently it is. Yes, I know. We call the trunk of the car the boot. So I always say, I used to be picking up children from school. I used to say to to all of my children's friends, so if you just put it in the boot, and they'd be like, the what? And I'm like, the back, boot, boot. Oh, yeah. It's very difficult because sometimes you think you're doing things the proper way, and you get yourself terribly convinced that you've adopted everybody else's language and that you're doing A-OK, and then you realise that it's actually not. Oh yes, I'm sure Judy knows how to ice skate. Arlene definitely knows how to ice skate. She's not allowed to any longer. Yes, that's what I've heard, that people walk the mall before the stores open. A defroster. Here we go. Yeah, but you know, when you're in Scotland, it used to be that you didn't get much frost in your car. It would have been a de-icer, a mister. Because when you get that little mist condensation, the decondensationer, there you go. Oh my gosh. I used to love watching the Olympics. I haven't done that in quite some time. Now, I don't know if anybody's got any other questions now that we actually managed to get ourselves up and running. Yes, and the bonnet is the hood. I know. Because you used to say to people, could you pop the bonnet? I can't say that over here. Yeah, I know. Get into very much trouble hanging around outside Home Depot, that's for definite. But we did go in the middle of the day, which was quite safe, and I was very lucky today because I went to go to the job and I was early, and I thought, you know what, Charlene and I were debating if it was Peabody or Danvers, and I said, you know what, I think I'll go now just in case it's not the place we think it is. So I tootled off and I thought, you know, look, I'm going to be 15 minutes early. That's great because it will give me time to work out what's going on with these blinking prams. And then I hit a detour, and it was probably one of the longest detours I've ever come across. It just kept going and kept going and kept going, and I thought, you know, I don't even know if I'm going the right way. Or eventually, after a good number of miles, I came up, this little detour sign came up, and I thought, that detour, and then the next detour. Oh gosh. And it was one of those things. I thought, you know, had I left at the time that the Google Maps had told me it was going to work, I would have got there on time. I would have been there about 15 minutes late. So that was actually very fortunate. It's funny how things actually turned out quite nicely. Me and my chicken, my co-driver. Actually, she was making so much noise, I actually thought she was laying an egg. But no. So, although she did have a poop in the pram, and I just covered it over with the blanket. And no easy. I said, I'm just going to cover this over, and she said, that stinks. I'm like, crikey, it really does. It was extremely stinky. So she was very, very well behaved, that chicken. And I did not take the mummy chicken because she has a habit of flying, and I thought that was beyond pushing my luck today. Are you looking for something, darling?
I'm just looking for this.
The what? The scoop. Oh. Elvis wouldn't go out today. He's in the barn making a right royal mess. Is he behaving himself out there? Yeah. And that turkey, again, it's definitely the red thing she's going for, because... What, Elvis? Oh, my laptop. Come on, Petro. You coming? No? Oh, this fella's just like tick. Oh, my laptop. You coming? Jam. I know it. I can't help it that next in here. Hi, Jamie.
Not for you.
Well, she'll eat that if you leave it there. She's terrible. She loves the chicken food. She is so naughty. Oh, my darling. You need to go out. She won't come in if you're here. Come on, Jam Jam. She's like, yeah, I'm off. My little buddy. Jen, oh no, a big buddy's coming. Hello, trouble. Here. Blah. I know. Jamie, are you coming in? You just come in for a great big nosy. Don't you? You just come in to see, oh, look at your chicken eggs. I'm dropping them. Push them off the floor. Yeah. No, not out the bag. Keep dropping them. Hey, my bag. Not yours. Yep. Good boy. Where's my buddy? You go out because you like to cook in here. Here's my wee girl. Here's my wee girl. Here's my honey bunny. There you are, darling. Oh, you're the bestest girl, aren't you? Oh, you bad. What's this nose like? No! He's patting them out. Watch out, Nick. Elvis is coming through. Big horn. Oh, no, he's pooping. Out! Out! Take him out. Out! Pooping out. Okay. Car park. That's my other favourite.
You need to get that.
What? Yes, I'll do that. Okay, so there we are. No, she doesn't lie. She's a very good chicken. Okay, so I'm going to go and get organised and sorted out for the rest of the evening, so I can wake up and see just how much snow we've got. I used to be really excited about snow. I'm not excited about snow any longer. I'm going off it bigly, very bigly. Okay, so let's go get the barn finished, and we'll be back on Monday. And we'll try and get nice videos over the weekend if we can. So, thank you so very much for joining me, and I think the camera is now working, which is silly because now there will be nothing in here apart from the mic. So I will see you all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and obviously it is apparently Super Bowl, so I'm told, and some people will be very excited about that. Personally not me, but hey, never mind. Enjoy. See you all soon. Night night. Now, what do? I do that. And then I don't know if it will work. Okay. Oh my gosh.